This is what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? It's just, everyone's pretty much surprised, but yet, I've dreamed of this, ever since I've came here. And, being that we're actually living in it, it doesn't surprise no one, because we prepare for these type of accolades. We prepare for these type of winning streaks. We prepare for these type of performances. And when it actually comes to fruition, nobody's surprised.
The Panthers pitched a shutout, scoring 38 unanswered points over the division rival Falcons, improving their record to 13-0. So, Stephen A., are the Panthers a lock for Super Bowl 50?
First thing I want to say is this. No, they're not. But the first thing I want to say is I can't express enough how proud I am of Cam Newton. I'm not talking about just how he plays, but how he conducts himself as the franchise player for the Carolina Panthers. He's a leader in every sense of the word. What he does in terms of how he carries himself and how he goes about conducting himself as the leader of this franchise is commendable. And I wanted to take a moment to say that about him, because it's incredibly impressive to watch. And for a lot of young kids out there to see what he's doing is special. I watched his interview with Scott Van Pelt a few weeks ago. It's just something special, and I think that he deserves it.
And what he does in the community,
That's
too.
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So when I look at him, it's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing to see. Having said all of that, they are not a lock. They are not a lock to win the NFC. Carolina is no joke. That defense is big time. Ted Ginn Jr., I got on him for being Mr. Drop Passes before the game. He showed up yesterday and balled out. Major problem. And Skip, you're absolutely right. He's electrifying in terms of his speed, the separation that he creates for himself. I mean, you got receiving cornerbacks ain't within 5 yards of this brother. I mean, he's just blowing by them, leaving them in the dust. The better of a catcher Ted Ginn Jr. becomes, he will be an elite receiver in this game. He's that gifted in terms of his speed and his route running. He just has to catch passes more consistently. Having said all of that, Arizona is no joke. They've only lost 2 games, and Carson Palmer is a legit MVP candidate, and Larry Fitzgerald has been resurrected with Floyd, with their secondary, with the Honey Badger and Powers and Peterson and all of those boys. They cannot be ignored. But I'm comfortable with the Legion of Boom. Skip Bayless, my pick to go to the Super Bowl before this season even began. I'm comfortable where I'm sitting right now. The Legion of Boom is resurrecting himself, albeit Minnesota and then Baltimore yesterday. I understand. But when you look at the Legion of Boom and how they're getting after cats right now, that's impressive. But what really stands out, even though I don't like the fact that they lost Rawls because he broke his ankle, who was running, filling in for beast mode to the point where he looked like he was beast mode, okay? Has anybody noticed what Russell Wilson has been doing?
No, only you. You're the only one.
Russell Wilson, 4 consecutive games, a passer rating of 138.5.
Really? Wow.
Russell Wilson, 16 touchdowns and 0 interceptions over the last 4 games.
Wow.
Russell Wilson, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. When you look at what this brother has been doing, throwing 5 TDs in 2 of the last 3 games, the way that he has been balling, I just can't say enough. We know, and then the offensive line is getting a bit sturdier. They're protecting him a little bit better. He's still elusive. He's a playmaker. He's making things happen. Russell Wilson continues to play the way that he's been playing. I wouldn't mind seeing an NFC Championship game with Carolina versus Seattle in Charlotte, North Carolina. I might end up going to that game since I love Charlotte. I love me some Charlotte. Hey, listen, that's a second home practically. I went to school an hour away at Winston-Salem State. Here's the deal. I might have to be there for that one. That's going to be a beautiful game. But I can't. Listen, Carolina should be everybody's favorite the way they're looking right now. But I don't think anybody can just sit there and go like this. Seattle don't have a chance. Seattle can't beat these boys. Seattle, the way they're playing, can go anywhere against anybody and beat them. Right now, the way Russell Wilson is looking, I mean, he continues to look like that. And here's the beauty of it, Skip. What if beast mode comes back?
Well, is he?
And I don't know. What if he comes back and he decides to be beast mode? His final season in Seattle before he probably goes to Oakland. How are you going to... I mean, beast mode. Because remember, He's boys with a lot of those cats inside that locker room, including Cam Chancellor. Cam Chancellor, part of the reason he ended his holdout, he told me that personally, was that Beast Mode is his boy.
Yeah.
And he promised them what they came here to do together. If Beast Mode get healthy, especially with Rawls playing the way that he played, Beast Mode can't come back and be a lesser version of Rawls. He's Beast Mode. He's got to show up. I kind of like this. I kind of like the way this story is unfolding in Seattle, okay? So it's going to be very interesting. It is not a lock. Carolina's the favorite. They deserve that respect because I don't want Charles Johnson to beat me up by me denying that they're the favorite. They told me what they were going to do. By the way, Charles Johnson was here a few weeks ago, NFL Countdown, and he told me exactly what they were going to do to Atlanta, and they did it yesterday. Just stomped them, okay?
He said it was going to be 38-0?
He didn't score, but he was like, we're going to beat them down.
Okay.
He said, you don't understand. Don't worry about Julio Jones because we got Josh Norman. Don't even worry about Julio Jones. He said that. He schooled me. You know, he got me good. He said, watch. Don't even. He said,
I don't think anybody worries about Atlanta right now.
No, it's awful.
Jones.
It's just, I don't know what the hell
It's just
happened.
awful.
I don't know what. I can't believe what has happened to
They've
Atlanta.
turned in like the worst team in the league.
And you talk about
they
Quinn.
started off so
Quinn was
strong.
like a golden boy when he first started, and now you just another coach. How do y'all look this bad
Now I
this
feel
long?
like he's on the hot seat.
He should be.
I don't know.
I mean, he ain't no different than Mike Smith. I mean, it's just that bad. So in the end, Beast Mode, hopefully he comes back. Russell Wilson playing the way that he's been playing with the Legion of Boom. Carolina should be the favorite. But I would caution everybody, watch out for Seattle. Look, they're coming.
Okay, so you have wavered on your preseason Super Bowl pick through the year on Seattle. You've said, I don't know, I don't know.
I said, I don't know. And I still don't, because look at the way Carolina's looking. But I never jumped off the ball. I jumped off with Indianapolis immediately.
Well, you should have jumped completely off yesterday when they gave up, what was it, 51 to Jacksonville?
I've been off for weeks. Pagano might not have a job, man. Seriously.
That was crazy.
That might have been it. That might have been it for Pagano. Seriously.
Are you sure you can go win at Charlotte without Beast Mode or anybody?
No.
Okay, what if he's got a sports hernia? I don't know what it is.
You don't want Beast Mode and Rawls going.
That's what I'm saying.
So now that Rawls is out, Beast Mode got to come back. I don't think you could beat Carolina without Beast Mode.
With Fred
Jackson,
have something? You got Fred Jackson left.
Well, all right. You got to have something. Somebody got to be D'Angelo Williams for the Seahawks.
Okay, back to your first point.
All right.
Ted Ginn has become the baddest man at receiver in the National Football League. And I realize he occasionally has the dropsies, but nobody, including Deshaun Jackson, can run past defenders the way Ted Ginn Jr. can run past. He is now requiring double focused from two defenders on nearly every play that he lines up wide.
He's electrifying.
Because he is so fast. He's the fastest man in the National Football League, and he has a quarterback who has one of, if not the biggest arm in pro football, and who throws a sweet deep ball. So all of a sudden, the threat of bombs away to Ted Ginn, he caught 2 balls yesterday, and, you know, it was for like 1,000 yards, because it's like every ball he catches is going to be a big catch for a huge gain. So, again, he has had his drop problems, but when he doesn't, he changes the way they play football because it opens the whole defense up, because you have to account for that little man who can run by 2 people, okay? And Cam, look, has anybody, you said, has anybody noticed about Russell Wilson? Have you noticed what Cam Newton has done in his last 4 games? I mean, seriously, he played a lot of mediocre games early in the year, and these last 4, he's thrown 13 touchdown passes to only 1 interception. 1 interception? Really? 13-1. Russell Wilson the last 4, 16-0. But Cam's right in there neck and neck with him. And to me, this team is so hot and so extremely confident, and it starts with Cam and it ends with the head coach, that it's hard for me to believe that your Seahawks, as it is right now, could go on the road to, let's say, it looks like today it would be at Green Bay. So they'd have to go on the road 3 times. They'd have to go win at Green Bay, at Arizona, at Cam. Do you think they could pull off that trifecta? Because I don't think they could. It's a little too late. And I know Russell Wilson, he's making throws from the pocket at about 5, barely 11, that I didn't think he could make. He's beating people from the pocket to Doug Baldwin. They look like he's playing like he's 6 feet 5 inches tall. That's how he's throwing from the pocket. But can they go win at the bad man and then at Carson Palmer and at Cam Newton? That's such a tall order, given the fact that they've had their internal dissension and their problems that you've talked about, the issues with the head coach, the trustability with the head coach.
They should have it. I think that, you know, listen, I have faith that they'll rally together, they band together, they understand what's on the line. They're grown men, and they understand that the ultimate goal is to win. The ultimate goal ain't to whine and moan about what transpired, knowing that you can't change that. That's just what men realize and what conclusion men and professionals come to. You know, I want to take a moment. I got to give Ginn credit. Skip, he's only got 37 receptions on the season.
But look at the yards
645 yards, 17.4 yards a catch. I'm willing to sit there and say if Kelvin Benjamin comes back healthy next year and Ted Ginn becomes a reliable pass catcher, because we know he has everything else. I mean, they can win it all. They can win the chip, you know, even though some would say they could win it now. I will say this to you. Again, Carolina deserves to be the favorite. And if I had to bet my money at this moment, it would still be Carolina. But you asked the question about who's the biggest threat. And I'm saying to you is Seattle. And I'm telling you this. Carolina plays a lot of close games. Their defense keeps you in it. They move the chains. Cam steps up and makes big plays. All of that is true. But the flip side to it is that, you know, you got to look at the fact that it's going to come down to pressurized moments. And when I think about Carolina and I think about Seattle, you know what? What can Cam do that Russell Wilson can't do?
Or vice versa.
Exactly. I'm just saying, we have to ask ourselves that question. Because when we look at, we rave about Cam so much, and you know, he's my league MVP, but the flip side to it is that Russell Wilson could do what he does. Russell Wilson could do it, man. So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens. And they are better. And the offense does look better without Jimmy Graham. And guess why? Because they maybe got a tight end that don't mind blocking. And he's been better protected. And that has something to do with it.
I would agree with that. And I remind everyone, Cam won at Seattle earlier this year. When he didn't play very well until the end, he was great in the fourth quarter, but finally, remember, Seattle completely busted a late coverage. Remember that? And they let Greg Olsen run right up the seam, unguarded.
That's right.
For an easy touchdown that won the game. Right?
Yeah. And in that particular game, Jimmy Graham had 8 receptions for 140 yards. He wouldn't be there now. But again, I think Seattle has more cohesiveness and continuity with their offense without him than they did with him.
Yes, the huge question is going to be the running game for them and their health. And of course, last week, Carolina clinched the division, and this week, a first-round bye. The NFC East, the division still up for grabs. The Eagles, there's a look at the standings. Crazy as always, and Redskins hold serve in the NFC East with wins on Sunday. We bring in our analyst and former Eagle, Eric Allen, for his weekly update on the most fascinating division in football. Of course he is.
Listen, he lives in a city that doesn't have a football team, but is pretending to have a football team with San Diego.
Oh, I thought it was a basketball team.
Why should he be allowed here? Why should he be allowed here?